What's the number one way that people here in the United States become millionaires? Is that number growing? Are there more millionaires here in the US than there have been, or is it shrinking? And what are some potential paths? If that's a goal for you, what are some potential paths to get you there? I've got that and more coming up. One of my favorite quotes in all of personal finance is by author Morgan Housel in his book, The Psychology of Money. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he says, when people say that they want to be a millionaire, what they actually mean is they want to spend $1 million, which is quite literally the opposite of being a millionaire, right? You can't have $1 million if you've spent $1 million. And so often that is what people think. Well, being a millionaire means I can just spend as much money as I want, when in fact being a millionaire means, well, you've earned it and then you've saved it, right? You've got enough assets that you've surpassed that $1 million benchmark. And millionaire status does have some allure to it, though. It does have some prestige. Whether this is the right goal or maybe one of your goals, it does have some kind of, it says a little bit like, yeah, I'm making progress financially, or maybe I've made it. Right? Maybe I've made it. Now, we would argue, no, that's not what it should mean. You have a very specific financial situation. You have unique goals and a unique purpose that you want to achieve in your life, and certain lifestyle that you want to live. And whether you need $1 million or something short of that or something far above that, your number is your number, and you need to work with your CFP on that. But quite literally, if you want to become a millionaire, how do you get there? How do you define it? Well, you have all of your assets. You got to build assets, and you've got to reduce your liabilities so that when you add up all your assets and subtract your liabilities, that net worth is $1 million or more. That's what it means. I saw it recently. Someone said, if you've got $600,000 saved up in your 401k and you've got equity in your house of $400,000, does that make you a millionaire? And they're sort of casting doubt, like, nah, you're not a millionaire. No, you are. If you don't have any liabilities, if your assets are $1 million, and you have no liabilities, then your net worth is $1 million. That's a millionaire. I think most people these days are thinking, well, millionaire means I've got $1 million saved up in investments. And I would agree with that pursuit. However, defining millionaire is your net worth $1 million or more? But if we were to go even deeper into that definition of, build assets and pay down liabilities, what I would say is build appreciating assets. So add money to appreciating assets, ones that will actually grow for you, and then avoid liabilities. Why would I say that? That is a much more potent way of building wealth and becoming a millionaire. Why? Because not all assets work the same, right? If the goal of becoming a millionaire, if it was as easy as just, I'll just own assets and then, I'll pay down my liabilities. Well, owning assets, you could own vehicles, right? Or you could own cash. It's just going to be much harder to become a millionaire if you're investing a lot of dollars there, because those categories aren't appreciating for you. Vehicles often depreciate, and cash really doesn't appreciate much at all. It might earn a little bit of interest, but you want to, in order to build wealth or try to become a millionaire, you want to invest and build appreciating assets that are going to work for you, assets that will add more assets and compound, right? That's the secret sauce. But then you want to avoid liabilities. Why? Because they actually detract. They charge interest, so they require more cash flow just to pay the interest, and it doesn't actually accelerate your wealth building. Well, this is no surprise to you if you're a fan of the Wise Money Show, but just, recent data has shown that the average person becomes a millionaire by consistently, automatically saving into their 401k. That is it. I mean, consistent, automatic savings or investing, right? And what's the secret there? That you don't have to, consciously make that decision every single paycheck, that it's happening consistently and automatically, right? And that those dollars are being directed into appreciating assets. And yes, the stock market can go down in a day, in a week, in a month, in a quarter, in a year, in a couple-year time period, in a 5-year time period. Very, very rarely it can go down over a 10-year time period, but you span out long enough, you zoom out long enough, and yeah, those are appreciating assets. And therefore, consistent and automatic savings into your 401k, that leverages that idea of investing dollars into appreciating assets. That's the number one way people in America become millionaires. And yeah, that number is growing. We are at 23, almost 24 million millionaires in the United States. That is absolutely incredible. Is that a goal for you? Now, it might be, okay? It might be. I would launch a bigger goal for you, and that is to reach your financial goals, whatever they are, right? Whatever they are. And for many people, it is, and I do think this is what people really feel, what they really mean when they say they want to be a millionaire is they want to be financially independent. Financially independent. They want to feel stable financially and be independent of, well, do I need to continue to work for that paycheck, or am I working because I want to, not because I have to? And could I live off of my financial resources that I've already saved up and be able to live the lifestyle that I want? Maybe not go out and blow money and spend money frivolously, but really not have to worry about it on the day-to-day. Live the lifestyle that I want without having to worry about money. I think that's what people really want. And whether that is $1 million or $2 million or $5 million or $500,000, work with your CFP, build out that plan and build that path to get there. Now, if, just for math's sake, in a couple scenarios, if you are starting right away, or maybe for your kids, you're age 25, you've got a 40-year career ahead of you, what would it take in order to reach a millionaire status by the time you're age 65, by the time you retire? It would only take just under $4,000 a year of savings. $4,000 a year, less than $400 a month, $350 a month. And that would get you with an 8% rate of return, which the stock market tends to do higher than that. I'm just being a little bit more conservative, maybe more realistic because of, behavioral decisions and those sorts of things. But that gets you to millionaire status. But that's millionaire. And if we're saying millionaire, what if we said millionaire in today's dollars? A millionaire today is not the same thing as a millionaire in 40 years. And so if you inflate that $1 million, sorry, I'm super geeky, inflate that $1 million at 3%, I have no idea what average inflation is going to be. Technology should bring it down. We certainly have been in a money printing kind of era here over the past several years. And so who knows? 3%. $1 million today, 40 years from now, is really going to be like $3.3 million. Like 3.3 would equal about $1 million. And what would that take? Over 12 grand a year. Still, like that's more than 3,800. But yeah, it's not insurmountable for many people. Saving $1,000 a month, and you might not be able to start there. Again, this was starting at 25. You might not be able to start there, but you could build up. You could build up to it. So that's the long road. At the beginning of your career, how much would you need to be saving to become a millionaire? Now, what if you don't have that much time? What if you have half of that time, right? The just launching your kind of adulthood and your financial life, that's a stressful time, and you got student loans and you got to buy a house and you got all sorts of things, right? And so what if you got through those years and maybe around age 45? Okay, well, I don't have much saved. I'm ready to get serious. We've got some resources. Let's go. How do I become a millionaire in 20 years? Well, that's a bigger sacrifice, right? That's a bigger sacrifice. About $21,000 a year is what you'd need to save up if you wanted to become a millionaire over 20 years. But again, a millionaire 20 years from now is not the same as a millionaire today. If you extrapolate that and increase it at 3%, you need to have about 1.8 million, okay? And in order to reach that goal, again, in 20 years, about $3,000 a month. That's significant. That's a sacrifice. Is it doable? Yes, I've seen it done, right? It takes the right sort of vision, the right commitment, the right structure to your finances, but it's not easy. Certainly not easy. So I'd bring it back to the question. Yes, there are more millionaires in America today than there were a year ago, than 5 years ago. This number is growing. Is there a secret to it? No, it's actually surprisingly simple, but you need to be consistent. It is consistent automatic investing, okay? Consistent automatic investing. So, do you need to be striving towards that millionaire goal? Is it a little bit more? Is your number what your goal should be? Is it more than that? A little bit less? What's the right number? What's the right target? Work with your certified financial planner on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. Right there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.